here with Jimmy Olea. How are you tonight?
Well, Miss Misery,
Awesome. I want to ask you some questions. You've been acting for a really long time, and you've done some great work.
thank you.
How did you get started in acting?
I originally started with my grandmother. We used to watch late night horror movies
Oh, cool.
as well as Kirk Douglas, Burt Lancaster, all the old actors, and we would match them and do match trivia questions with them. And from then on, because I was from Corcoran, there was nothing to do but watch grass grow. So I would do impressions of some of the actors and quote some of the various lines, and she would guess who they were, and she would be entertained by it because that was my grandmother.
I love that's great. Who inspired you to get into acting? Is there an actor or an actress that really
Uh,
inspired you to get into it?
uh, John Wayne,
Oh,
Chuck Norris, Burt Lancaster, James Stewart, all those actors. They just
Chuck
they
Norris.
just they
Yeah.
just had a way about how they worked on film with other people, and it was really, you know, natural, including Bob Hope and Bing Crosby, those guys, and it was just fun to go in their world and be entertained by them. Being that in agriculture in Corcoran, you had to do farming, a lot of farming, and this was a way of entertaining yourself.
Is there a specific role that you love to play that you've done that you always do, or is there something that just you have to do in film, like action or martial arts or?
Anything like Swashbuckler, the pirates, like Johnny Depp's one of my favorite.
Oh,
Pirates of the Caribbean. Anything like Errol Flynn had Blackbeard, Robin Hood. Anything that requires that the good guy's battling it out against the bad guy. You know, the standard role of an adventure actor. It's fun to do other types of roles, but that's my favorite.
oh man! And you do martial arts as well.
Yes,
How long
yes.
have you been doing that?
Since probably in the late 80s. I started as a kid because Bruce Lee was my idol, but before I could get whatever his classes were, he had passed on. So
Oh,
I would go with whatever school was providing martial arts at that time and get into it, or mimic. And then Cassius Clay was one of my other heroes because my mama was wanted me to learn how to box. So
oh,
Cassius Clay then was Muhammad Ali now. So she said, watch how he moves and imitate the moves. So just like acting, moved and we played and we sparred. And Bruce Lee being one of my other favorites, we used to just like, whoa, just cross and fight and have fun with it.
oh, that's great.
Imagination was wild, it was fun.
Awesome. Now you've also been in the film Howard the Duck.
Yes, I was one of the skinnier troopers back then. After the duck gets run over by the semi and the monster takes off with the girl, a bunch of troopers show up, and I was younger. I was like 28, and it was 1988 when we filmed that. And I was much skinnier, and I was there taking report for my detectives about what had happened. So you'll see me in there about 6, 7 shots of that episode right there.
That's great. How was it filming on that set? Did you get to see the duck? Did you?
Yes, we saw the duck. We saw the actress, and the voiceover character who did the lips and mechanics of the duck,
Oh,
and
that's so cool.
it was a lot of fun. And we got to hang out and work and enjoy working with people on set. It was shot. That part was shot in Napa.
Oh, nice.
So originally Cleveland, but Napa.
Yeah, yeah. I get it. Is there any roles that you have not done yet that you're dying to do that you haven't done in your acting experience?
My favorite would probably be Man of La Mancha. It's theater, but I remember that one in Cyrano de Bergerac when with Miguel Ferrer, not Miguel Ferrer's father, back in the 50s. I'd love to do something like that. But
Oh,
those
that's
guys,
cool.
that was beautiful work back then.
Oh,
So
great.
being that getting into some of the horror movies, I find that very interesting. It's a new genre for me. Because as a kid, I used to scare my my cousins, and as a father, I used to play around and try to scare my children, but now
Nice.
to be actually to work on some of your work with you, Miss Misery, it's a different flair. It's fun.
Do you have a favorite horror film?
Oh,
I know there's so many. There's so many to choose.
the funniest one I love was Abbott and Costello in Frankenstein.
Oh, Evan Costello. Oh, I
That
love
was-
them.
that
Those
was
are
one.
great.
The scariest one was Bela Lugosi, and then Vincent Price. Yes, I'm back in House of Wax. Those guys really scared me as a kid, and
Oh, cool.
and I love those actors. They were very classy back then. They had a genre of a persona just being there and not really doing much, but just looking at you, and you could see the intensity of that work. Some of Alfred Hitchcock's work is The
Oh,
Birds.
yes.
You know what's around the corner. You don't really have to see it, but the imagination just ran amok with you.
Exactly.
What's going on?
Exactly.
So that's cool stuff.
Great. And do you have a website or a Facebook or Twitter that we can check out and find out more about you and your upcoming projects and movies?
I believe it's Jimmy Olea on Facebook.
Great.
And Jimmy_Olea on Twitter.
Awesome.
So you can keep up with what I'm working on and stay in touch.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's a pleasure, Miss Misery. Thank you
Thank
for having
you.
me.
Back to the film.